So I'd like to once again submit some evidence to show that Tricia Trimble from Suntegrity has absolutely no integrity at all. And I actually refer to her now as Cheap Trick Tricia, because she'll trick you in to get something done for the cheapest way possible. That's just her. So in this case here, Tricia Trimble, sued, she's the plaintiff, sues a Tom Stone, an individual, a company called Great Life Technologies Inc., which is a corporation, Evolve Central Inc., which is a corporation, and those 1 through to 25 inclusive. The case was filed in the Superior Court for the State of California, County of Los Angeles. The case number is B for boy, C for cat, 513843. There it is. So let me just tell you, to prepare a case against an individual takes a lot. To serve someone to actually make this case valid so it can actually get off the ground is often extremely difficult. And I put countless hours into this case, and I'm going to read you the outcome of the case and what the case is about. But I put countless hours into this case. I think she, at the end of the day, only spent about $4,800 with the attorney, John Taylor. John Taylor was my former attorney and then acted on behalf of her. So he has a direct conflict of interest attacking me later because he represented me first and then represented her. So he should know that is a conflict of interest, and anything drawn up in a conflict of interest is not valid. And Mr. John Taylor's threats that he issued to me later are basically anything that's signed in duress has no validity in the court anyway. So his physical threats, forcing people to sign a document, don't hold up in court. He should know that. Conflict of interest doesn't hold up. But back to this case, okay? So I encouraged Tricia Trimble to get her $70,000 back from this Tom Stone. Tom Stone was moving around overseas from Australia to England. He was just jumping around, and apparently many people were after him in the United States, trying to sue him for monies that he fraudulently took from them, including Tricia Trimble. And I told her to stand up for herself and go after this guy. So $4,800 later, and a lot of hours invested by myself. And here's the thing, this judgment, the entire lawsuit, would not have been valid if Tom Stone could not have been found and served. So I managed to put a lot of evidence together to show that this guy was coming in from overseas and would be, I believe it was in Colorado. So if the attorney or the people serving would intercept him on his way and hand him the documents, the lawsuit, he then, under the law, is served. So, you know, that's what I masterminded. That's what my intel found out. And like I said, I put a lot of hours into this. The reward from Tricia Trimble, after she gets a $485,719 judgment that she wins against Tom Stone. Guess what? The attorney got paid $4,800 for that exercise. Guess what I got paid? Sweet fuck all. So here I am to make my case again that Cheap Trick Tricia does not pay. It's the stingiest person I've worked for, and I worked for a good 2.5 years, and I could write a book what I did for this lady, including many of her legal issues that she had on Amazon. People buying from Suntegrity, buying merchandise, Suntegrity sunscreens at trade shows, a few $1,000s worth, and then breaching the contract that they signed with her, stating that they wouldn't sell it on Amazon, but then they did turn around and sell it. A lot of distributors do this. Is a very common practice, and they make a lot of money that way very quickly. But I had to sort out the mess every single time these guys came along and breached her contract. I sorted out the issue every single time, and they were numerous. I mean, week after week they were there. So once I got rid of the very big boys in New York and San Diego, the big distributors, and they knew that there was no fucking around, that they had breached and that they were in a lot of trouble, and basically I was going to pull them into court, they surrendered and didn't do it ever again. So she cleaned up a lot of mess and saved herself and her company a lot of money. Again, what did Tricia pay for all this help? For the many hours put in masterminding how to catch these people out by using invisible ink, ordering invisible ink, putting it on the product, shipping it out to them, ordering it then back from them, and then showing them that they indeed were breaching the contract because they didn't see this invisible ink. So these were all things and ideas and know-how brought to the table. Again, many hours, many days and hours invested. What did I get paid for it? Sweet fucking zero. And again, cheap trick. Tricia will milk you like a damn cow and not pay. So I'm going to tell you what, Tricia Trimble, and I'm going to tell you what, Suntegrity, as well as John Taylor. I will keep on exposing you for who you are, that you're just a greedy person going around capitalizing on contacts and work and not paying until you own up and pay a person's worth, a person's value. Not this BS threatening business that you try through an attorney who happened to represent me in the past. And the same goes to you, John Taylor. You need to tread very carefully legally, because you are breaching your rules of professional conduct. You know that you can't represent two parties, and you know that you cannot make physical threats. So Tricia Trimble, I expect payment from you. I made it very clear that I'll keep on exposing you for who you are. Cheap trick, Tricia, going around and fooling many people along the way. And anybody that walks into this individual, I tell you what, don't do any contracts with her, don't engage with her, because you're not going to be on the winning end, buddy. So this case, so that I can read it to you, basically says defendants Tom Stone, Great Life Technologies Inc. and Evolve Central Inc. having been regularly served with summons and copy of the complaint, Tom Stone having failed to appear at the court's case management conference, thereafter being placed in default by this court, and Great Life Technologies Inc. and Evolve Central Inc. having failed to answer or otherwise plead within the time allowed by law, and upon application of plaintiff Tricia Trimble to the court, the default of said defendant having been entered, and after having considered the declaration of plaintiff Tricia Trimble and John Taylor submitted pursuant to CCP section 585D and the other evidence submitted by plaintiff, the court rules as follows. That's the title page there. If you want to take a screenshot of it. The court rules as follows. Findings. First case of cause of action for breach of contract. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble as against defendants Tom Stone and Great Life Technologies Inc. Second cause of action for fraud. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble as against defendants Tom Stone and Great Life Technologies Inc. Third cause of action for conversion. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble as against defendants Tom Stone and Great Life Technologies Inc. Fourth case of action for unfair business practices. Business and Professional Code 17200. CT sequence. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble as against defendants Tom Stone and Great Life Technologies. Fifth cause of action for unjust enrichment. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia as against defendants Tom Stone, Great Life Technologies Inc. and Evolve Central Inc. Sixth cause of action for fraudulent conveyance. The court finds in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble against defendants Tom Stone, Great Life Technologies Inc. and Evolve Central. Therefore, it is hereby ordered that judgment is entered in favor of plaintiff Tricia Trimble as against Tom Stone, an individual, Great Life Technologies Inc. Corporation and Evolve Central Inc. Corporation to have and recover from these defendants and each of them jointly and severely the principal amount of $70,000 plus prejudgment interest from and after July 1st, 2010 to May 31st, 2014, which totals $10,459 and court costs of $460. general damages of $100,000 and punitive damages to the sum of $300,000, along with attorney fees in the sum of $4,800 for the total judgment amount of $485,719 plus interest after judgment at the legal rate as may accrue. There it is. Okay. And again, I'm going to remind you, what did Tricia Trimble pay after getting this $485,000 judgment? Sweet fuck all zero.